Welcome, everyone, on our journey to begin exploring the game and world of Battletech. There are many different eras of Battletech, each one offering its own flavor to an immense setting with thousands of characters and hundreds of stories. But I think it's fitting today for me to talk about the best setting, in my opinion, in the series and the game. It's fortunate the best setting for any new player to acclimatize themselves to the world of MechWarrior and Battletech is, in fact, the first one. Today we are going to talk about the Succession Wars. First, what is Battletech? Battletech is a game originally created by a company called FASA, which also created Shadowrun, that explores mech combat in the 31st and 32nd century. It is about large, lumbering Goliaths weighing between 20 and 100 tons that collide in battles against one another. The original setting covered the Third and Fourth Succession Wars. The Succession Wars come about after the disastrous end of what was the aspirational state known as the Star League. The Star League was an arrangement and agreement, as well as an organization built around cooperation between the large spacefaring states which had begun to appear across human-occupied space. The Terran hegemony was at the core of human expansion, and at the core of the Star League. It would be destroyed in a conflict known as the Ameris Civil War, which would see the Star League splinter and begin the Succession Wars. There are 5 successor states known as the Great Houses. There's House Davion, the Federated Sons; House Merrick, the Free Worlds League; House Karita, the Draconis Combine; House Liao, the Capellan Confederation; and House Steiner, the Lyran Commonwealth. To be more precise, the Succession Wars are a series of conflicts which would last for almost or more than 300 years, which would see humanity slide from its supposedly enlightened age, though the truth was the Star League was already in decline when it began its process of collapse, into an era of violence and barbarism. Technology was lost at a remarkable rate, and whole worlds would be devastated in nuclear fire. Medical, industrial, and military technology was lost to the histories as the inner sphere became intellectually and financially bankrupt. What would emerge would be a series of war-torn states, the successors to the Star League, that resembled more feudal fiefdoms mixed with industrial oligarchies, rather than proper states. Worlds would be dominated by dukes, counts, princes, and other assortments of noble masters, all swearing fealty to the houses above them. Militias and armies would march with personally purchased equipment, mechs being treated as noble weapons of a bygone era, often piloted by the nobles themselves in all of the ranks from the worlds of various states. The Succession Wars are a dark age for mankind, and a bloody one, as conflict emerged again and again. The longest of these wars is the Third Succession War, which lasts a century, dragging on with little land changing hands, but with more and more regions already depleted by centuries of warfare, now being left in ruin with little prospect of recovery. In the midst of all this, many would take their equipment and forage for resources on their own, working contracts for houses and local lords as mercenaries, or even, dare I say, pirates. These renegade knights and ronin would be pivotal during this time, as they can tip the balance of power, or be used to disguise the true perpetrator of an attack, or myriad other reasons. Inside the setting, players found and find reasons for any of the great houses to fight. All the major belligerents were resource deprived, and this could trickle down to the local level. There were years of bitterness and hatred between all the houses from a series of political betrayals and interference in their local politics by outside parties. Internal conflicts existed as well, as nobles from various worlds may press their claims, or may be seeking to outdo a rival in other ways. Battletech takes the same source of inspiration in many respects that Game of Thrones did, in terms of its constant plays for power between noble families and cadet branches, both internally and externally, for all of the houses. Pretenders to the throne, agents of foreign governments pretending to be nobles and other officials, political marriages and assassinations, as well as rebellions, interventions, full-scale invasions. All of this exists within, and all of this has consequences. A rich and beautiful setting. One with immersion and purpose, Battletech is one of the great tabletop games in the history of the industry, not just because of its game rules, but because of its rich story. The Succession Wars is not only the best part of this history in my opinion, but it is the best starting point for anyone looking to entertain the thought of exploring and playing in this incredible world. In future videos, we will be taking a closer look at elements of the 3rd and 4th Succession Wars, from campaigns, to characters, to mechs, and to more in-depth reviews of the houses and how they function. There's also a chance that we'll be doing a video talking about the collapse of the Star League. With that, thank you for joining me here today. If you enjoyed this content, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing. Otherwise, I will still see you in the comments section below.